Hello and welcome. My name is Amanda and today I have for you my July reading wrap up. So for the month of July, I would say it was unsuccessful but successful at the same time. And if you've been viewing my reading wrap-ups for a while now, you'll understand why once I get to this physical book. So the first book I read in July was Leah on the Offbeat by Becky Albertalli. This was a 7-hour and 11-minute book that I ended up giving a 2-star rating. Honestly, I was a bit disappointed in the story. I really enjoyed Simon versus the Homo sapiens agenda, and I also really enjoyed Becky Albertalli's other book, The Upside of Unrequited. But when I got to Leah on the Offbeat, I don't know if it was necessarily because a little bit of time had lapsed between reading Simon versus the Homo sapiens agenda. This is like the second book in the, I think it's the Creekwood series. So it follows like a group of friends essentially. But I just don't remember Leah being how she was portrayed to be in this book. So I was a little confused. It took me a really long time to actually like get back into the story and really like grasp my head around what was going on. And I just thought that the character we were presented in Simon versus the Homo sapiens agenda was a complete like polar opposite of the one that was in Leah on the Offbeat. So I think that's honestly my main reason why I didn't enjoy it as much as I anticipated enjoying it. So that's why it kind of got a 2-star rating for me. I just really didn't enjoy the character of Leah like I did in Simon versus the Homo sapiens agenda. I didn't really think there was a great plot. It just seemed a little far-field for me. So that was a little disappointing for me. And it was also the lowest rating that I gave a book this month, so I guess that's okay. Yeah. The next book I read was Hidden Figures on audiobook, and this was a 10-hour and 47-minute book that I gave a 3 out of 5-star rating. So in the Creating and Co. Facebook group, the book club group on Facebook, our prompt for July was to read a book about strong women, and the creator of the group page, she ran a poll on Facebook and Moxie won, but Moxie wasn't really a story that interested me that much, so I decided to go with Hidden Figures. And this one, it took me a little bit to get into as well because I didn't realize it was, I mean, I knew it was based on a true story, but I guess I thought it was written from one of the main characters or main focuses point of views and not as like a historical list of events kind of in a story form. So it took me a little bit, but it was a lot of really interesting information. I was engaged the whole way through. So it was a book that I definitely did enjoy. It was great to have a historical fiction book in this month, and so I am glad that I decided to read that for the Creating and Co prompt. The next book I read during the month of July was Obsidio by Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff. This is the third and final book in the Illuminates File trilogy, and it was a 13-hour and 1-minute audiobook that I gave 3 out of 5 stars. This was kind of a middle-of-the-road story for me. My favorite in the series was definitely Illuminae. I didn't really like the characters in Gemina that much, so I was glad when we got to have our first characters back. But it just kind of seemed all over the place as well. I didn't think the plot was very strong in this book, and it wasn't really as great of a conclusion as I had hoped for. I kind of wished for like a bigger reveal, a bigger set of events. I wanted something bigger for this book because it felt like it needed it. So that's why it just kind of got a meh 3-star rating from me. But again, as with the first 2 books, I did listen to this on audiobook, and it has a full cast of characters or a full cast of narrators. and they were phenomenal. There weren't as many sound effects in this one as there were in the first and second, but I definitely did enjoy listening to the audio version of this book. And the last audiobook I listened to was Ticker, and this was an 8-hour and 2-minute book that I gave the low end of 3 stars on. This is a steampunk novel about basically a set of twins. The girls in the family have really bad hearts, and their parents have lost 2 of their children, and the third girl, she ends up getting a metal heart, I guess it was a heart, called a ticker, implanted in just to help her pump blood and stuff. And it turns out the man who did this surgery for her and made this creation didn't use the most ethical ways to make this invention. So it's an action book, but I don't exactly know how old our main character was. I think it's supposed to be young adult, but it read more middle grade. It was fun, but also the plot was very kind of predictable, not much to it. I guess it was just a fluffy read that was good to fill in the time. So that's why it was a low end of 3 stars for me. For a total number of hours listened, I have 39 hours and 1 minute under my belt for this month, which again for me is a pretty low reading month. But I haven't had an audiobook for a couple of days now just because I'm kind of taking a break gearing up for a really big reading month in August. And then along with my 4 audiobooks I listened to, I also finally finished, wait for it, what did I finish? Outlander by Diana Gabaldon. As I'm filming this video, it is Monday, July 30th. I still have 63 pages, so between tonight and tomorrow night, I only have to read about 30 pages each night, which I know I'll do, so I will have this book finished by the end of the month. I have been reading it since March, and have had to take a couple breaks. I know there was 1 month that I didn't pick it up at all, just because being an adult book, there is some adult content, and I felt like it was happening way too often for my reading pleasure, so I decided, I just struggled. I decided I needed a little break, but I've been powering through it so I could finish it this month in anticipation for sitting my newts in August. So I can finally mark this off as read. I think I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5 star rating. I really enjoyed the characters, well, most of the characters, and the atmosphere of this book. The plot was alright. I think it could be a lot stronger. And then my enjoyment did wane at times, but overall this has been a pretty decent read, and I am looking forward to continuing the series, at least seeing how the next book is. So with finishing Outlander this month, I read 321 pages, which isn't a really big number. I've been reading it mostly on my Kindle and then just updating my bookmark as I finish reading for the evening. So, but I also have been pretty busy this month, so I would say that's pretty good. So in total, my average star rating for the month was 3 out of 5 stars, and I read a total of 5 books. So I would really love to know what maybe your top book was for this month. And if you feel so inclined, please leave that down in the comments below, and I will chat with you there until my next video. Bye!